Hi, my name is Samantha Hamill, and today I'm talking about hammocking as a leisure activity. So I started hammocking my freshman year of college, which was 3 years ago, when a group of my friends would go to different parks and hang out and study while hammocking. So this is the bag with my hammock in, and I use it all the time, especially in the warmer months. And it's super great and super easy to use. So today I will be talking about how to set it up to show how easy it is to use, the history behind it, and why I think that hammocking is a form of leisure. So here is a little video of me setting up my hammock to show what it looks like. When I first heard about hammocking, I had two major assumptions, which I know now are not true. And the first assumption was that I thought that it was super expensive to get a hammock. And then after doing some research and getting one of my own, I realized that it's super cheap and it's actually such a cost-effective way to enjoy leisure because it's a one-time cost. And after having my hammock, which I bought on Amazon for like $20, I don't have to spend any money to go lay out and go hang out in the trees with my friends. And it's just a super fun and cheap way to have fun outside in nature. And then the second assumption that I had was that it was super hard to set up, so I got really anxious about having a hammock because I didn't want to put in the time and effort to try and learn how to set it up. But I realized just how easy it is as soon as I got one because the steps are super easy. My hammock came with two straps, this little thing to connect the straps, and then the hammock itself. And the straps are super easy to use. On one side, they just have one loop, and then on the other, they have multiple loops. And so what you do is you basically just wrap it around a tree, loop it through the single loop, and then pull as tight as you can. And it's super easy. So I'm gonna do that now just to show just how easy that is with this tree behind me. So after setting up both straps, which I now have on the trees, I now just have to connect my hammock to these two things onto the straps, and then it's done for me. So it's super easy and simple. One thing that I learned through my experiences is that if you have a really skinny tree and you just have too much length, you can wrap it around twice and it's just as sturdy. Or if you have too thick of a tree, you sometimes just have to go and find like an easier tree that has like a better distance between each other. But once you start hammocking, it's super easy to start seeing what's a good distance between two trees and what's not. One thing I like to do is I just think like if it can hold me in a hammock, then it should be probably the length of me plus two, because that way it shows the straps and then me in the hammock. So it's super simple. I'm gonna attach the hammock now to the straps so that you can just see how easy it is. Sometimes it takes some readjusting on the straps, so you're just gonna hook this on. Just hook it on any loop. And then this is what my hammock looks like now that it is completely set up. So I'm going to get in it and then film the rest of the video for my hammock to just show how accessible and easy it is to use. All right, now I'm in my hammock, and as you can see, it's super roomy. I actually have a two-person one, so I have a lot of extra room and length on the side to just stretch out and relax. But now I'm gonna talk a little bit about the history of hammocking. So hammocking was first developed in Central and South America by the Mayan culture to use for sleeping. So they were originally made from the bark of a hammock tree, which is where it gets its name from, and then was later replaced with sisal fibers because they were easier to access. Many people used hammocks through Central and South America because they helped with shelter from outdoor insects and bugs when being suspended on the ground. Once Christopher Columbus explored some of the islands in South America, he brought the idea of hammocks back to Spain with him, which made it popular throughout Europe. The British Navy and other ships also used hammocks for sleeping without being on the hard deck, and they thought that it was really effective for that use. Now people use hammocks for both functionality and leisure, and you can use it. The purpose varies depending on different situations. Many people use hammocks while camping instead of pitching a tent, or they use hammocks instead of a conventional bed. One fun fact that I learned when researching hammocking was that the rocking motion of sleeping in a hammock is the same as a parent rocking their kid to sleep. So when you rock in a hammock, the motion sends a message to the brain, which transitions it to a resting state that induces sleep. So sleeping in a hammock can actually lead to deeper and more restful sleep. I do think that hammocking is a leisure activity because it's an activity that has been worthwhile within different societies for many different decades, and it also allows an individual to step back and relax while typically listening to nature and through the various sounds around them. For me personally, it helps me to step back from my busy life of work and school and take that time to relax and reflect more on my life. This activity can be done with others or by yourself, so you don't have to feel obligated to have someone with you when participating in the activity. Relating hammocking to Nash's concept use of leisure time, I think that it falls in the level 2 of passive participation because it's something that doesn't fully require attention or participation once you are in the hammock. One thing that I think this leisure activity might lack slightly is the idea of challenge, because once the hammock is set up, the concept is more about relaxing than challenging oneself, but there are many different ways to challenge yourself while hammocking, including the things that you do while you're hammocking, such as reading a book, reflecting on your life, or just through interactions with others. I also know that some people make hammocking a little bit of a sport or an adventure by seeing where they can hammock in the most risky of places, and at that point I just think that as long as it is safe, then it's fun to try out. But I personally would like to stick to the trees. Next, I wanted to touch on a couple of places that I go hammocking and I really enjoy, because I know that when I first started hammocking, I kind of was just going to Sibley all the time, and at that point I just wanted to branch out and check out a bunch of different locations. So my biggest advice to you would just be to try out different places and see what works best for you and what environments you like the best. I prefer more quiet locations where there's not a lot of people, and so these are the locations that work best for me. So one location that I really like is Highland Park, which is actually where I'm at right now, and it's right by campus and right by my apartment, so I think it's a super nice place, and there's not a lot of people that go there, and so in the springtime, the summer, and the fall, it's a great place to go hammocking. There's a lot of trees on the outskirts of the park, and it just kind of gives a really fun, cozy vibe to it, so I really enjoy it. Another place that I really like is the Nature Center right next to Minneopa, because it's free. So I know that Minneopa costs a lot of money to get in for like the state park, but the Nature Center next to it is actually free, and there's a bunch of walking trails that you can go around, and it's just a really fun place for me to go and walk, and then I'll bring my hammock and I'll actually hike down from the trail and go hammocking around the Minneopa and by the river, which is just really beautiful. There's not a lot of people there, so it's just a really nice secluded area for me to go hammocking. And then the third place that I really like to go is definitely Sibley. I think that it is a really nice park to go to because if you go up the hill, there's a lot of trees, and it's just a really good place where you don't have to worry about anything like weird happening. You're not in a super secluded area, but it's also a fun enough place where there's always something going on, and you can also go visit the goats and all the other animals at the petting zoo during the summer. So I just think it's a really fun and exciting place to go hammocking. So I really recommend going to those 3 places. And if you know of any other places, please comment on this video and just let me know what you like to go, where you like to go hammocking, because I'm super interested in always trying out new places. Overall, I think that hammocking is such a fun leisure activity for me to experience, and I really hope that if you have not been hammocking, then this is the video that pushes you to try it, because I really enjoy it. I think it is so great. One of the biggest plus is how cheap and cost effective it is, especially in our world today. I know that we talked about it in one of our discussion posts before about how a lot of leisure experiences cost money, and this $20 on Amazon, and now I get to have endless fun with my friends, my family, even by myself. So it's super universal, very easy in any situation. And I also think that in Minnesota, for sure, you can use it 3 out of the 4 seasons. And then if you go anywhere else, like down south or somewhere warm, you can use it all year round. So I just think that it's such a great leisure experience that you should definitely try out. And I hope that you were able to learn something from this video about the history of hammocking and how it got started and what it's like now, and that you just really got to see what it was like for hammocking. But thank you so much for watching.